Hi there, students. By a nose, a nice little idiom, particularly to win by a nose. If you win a race by a nose, you win it by a very small margin, only just. But we can use this by a nose just meaning with a very small margin. So we managed to catch the flight by a nose. If we'd been a fraction later, we would have missed our flight. This was because of all the traffic. The horse won the race by a nose, and this I think is the origin of it. A horse can win a race by different distances, and I think the smallest distance is by a nose, by an inch. This is a photo finish where it just wins. I passed my exam by a nose. I got exactly 50%. If I got any less, I would have failed. Yeah, I managed to do it by a nose, by a very small margin, by a very narrow margin. He was first over the line, but only by a nose, by the smallest amount, literally by the length of the nose of an animal, particularly in horse racing. The runner was in the lead by a nose, by the smallest amount. So the two candidates were neck and neck. And that's horse racing as well. And then one started to lead by a nose, barely, narrowly, only just, by a narrow margin, by a very small margin, by a whisker, by the skin of its teeth. Yeah, by a slim margin, by the narrowest of margins. Okay? So, by a nose, it just means only just. Yeah, to win, to have a very narrow victory. My team won the match by a nose, but it was down to the last moments. Yeah, there was an extremely small margin between the two. So by a nose, by a margin of distance, by a margin of time, or by other measures as well. They were about to close the gate, but I made it by a nose. Yeah, and then particularly with horse racing, the horses were neck and neck, but my horse won by a nose, by the smallest of margins. Okay, let's see. How formal is this? This is informal. I think I'd probably give it maybe a 4 informality, maybe 3.5. Definitely use it in an informal conversation. I don't think I would use it in something semi-formal, and definitely not in something formal. This is good for an informal conversation, maybe a semi-formal conversation, but no more. Okay, so by a nose, only just, barely, narrowly. Yeah, I succeeded by a nose. I won by a nose. Okay, so another great idiom to add to your vocabularies. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. So, bye for now. By a nose, to win by a nose.